I got to Utah when I was 2 because my dad was in the Air Force and we moved here. I have a brother and a sister. They're both older than me. My childhood was pretty good. And then my mom and dad dropped a huge bombshell on me and they told me that my dad wasn't my real dad. After that, I didn't get along with him good at all. I fought with my dad so much. And I don't know if it was just because what was in my mind. Like, I felt like he wasn't my dad, so he didn't have any right. Like, I couldn't turn to anyone. Like, that's what it felt like I was just there, you know, like in this big, huge world. And I was just like, where do I go? Where do I go from here? And then I started like dating guys and just stuff went bad with that. Like, I always just was like, I would do things to make them happy just because I wanted to feel loved. And so that was really, really hard. Like, I never felt comfortable with myself. I stopped eating a lot because I just had a bad image of myself. Like, I was like, oh man, I'm fat, oh man, I'm ugly, you know? So I stopped eating, and I think I didn't eat like for almost like a whole month. And I found out that Starbucks was hiring, so I turned in an application, and that's where I met Tyler. And I would say Tyler was finally like my breaking point with everything. Like, this is where the world came down, or it felt like it. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore, you know? Like, it was just so weird, like how everything just felt like it was crashing down on me. I don't know what it was, but I thought I covered up. Like, I thought I covered up everything well, you know? Like, I'm happy, I'm fine, it's cool. He was just another guy, you know? And the day before we opened the Hillfield Starbucks, we were putting like this store together and meeting everybody. And I remember when Brendan walked in. The next night was a Friday and I was closing with him. And I was mopping the floors and Brendan kept asking me if I was okay. He's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, you know? And it was really weird because no one was asking me that. Like, it was like once I said I was okay, they just believed me. But he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And so I was like, you know, there is something that's going on right now and I just don't know what to do about it, but I don't really want to talk about it. Everyone was leaving, like we were walking out, and I stood up on my car, like on my, like right where the door still is, and I stood up and I was like, hey, I'm like, thanks for asking if everything was okay, you know, like that really, really makes a difference to me. He got out and he came around and he's like, do you mind, can I ask you? And I said, yeah, and I instantly just started bawling. I just started crying. And then like we started talking about like where he was and like what he's been through and stuff, and he told me about elevation. I believed that there's something there, like a higher power, but I never knew what. And like my family and I never grew up in a church, so it wasn't like I knew, so I was kind of nervous. I remember pulling up to the movie theater and an overwhelming feeling just came over me. And I walked in and everything felt okay. Like everything was like, for once I felt happy. Like I found something, like something was okay, like something was telling me that this was right. Brendan told me about, he was telling me about his life and how he lives it, you know, and it's worth living and he lives it for God and everything like that. Like, and I was like, oh, like I want that. And it was like, it was sitting there right in front of me. And I just, until that day, like I didn't realize it. So the next Sunday came and I was like, I'm so excited for church. Like, I can't believe it. I was sitting in church and Brendan was singing and it was like Trinity was talking. And it was like we had a silent time at the end just to pray, you know, and I felt so overwhelmed with something, and I realized that my life was worth living for God. Like I wanted to do everything for him, you know, like I realized, and I just started bawling like, but I was so scared because I didn't know what it was. Like it happened so quick and so fast. I was so scared just to like jump out into the unknown, you know, but I wanted to know the unknown. Like it was like, what's out there? What can I do? You know, like what I was feeling, like I was ready. Like I want to live my life for God. I want to do things, you know, I want that. After that, my mom got news that she might have cancer again because she had cancer before. And I remember praying. I was like, God, just please be with my mom as she goes into the doctors tomorrow. You know, like I really want this to heal, and I want you to place your hand. Like, and I didn't know how to pray. Like that's like I just did it. Like I was just like just pray. Like if you feel like you need to, just do it. And I remember I was sitting at school and she called me and she's like, I woke up and it wasn't red, it was good. And she's like, but I thought it was still infected. But then she went to the doctors and they said it looks amazing from the last time that we saw her. Overnight, because it looked pretty bad the night before. You know, I cleaned it out for her and everything, and I was just like, wow, just be with my mom. And I remember writing this in my journal, because I have like my little journal that I write down in, and oh my gosh, like I just started like bawling again, because I was like, this proves to me, out of everything, like this one little thing, this one little sign, whatever you want to call it, it proves to me that he listens and that he cares, you know, that he's with me no matter what, like through this whole walk of life, this crazy thing, you know, that he's with me and that he's gonna be with me, like no matter what.